Good morning, and we're live. I'm Chris, the bus driver. Formerly Chris's Real Talk. This is going to take a bit of getting used to. So, how are we doing? My first proper video as Chris, the bus driver, on a bit of a rebrand. I promised I want to do more bus videos, and this is one of them. So, bus drivers need a gym. I'm pretty sure by now that everyone's familiar with the stereotype of bus drivers being a little bit portly, having a little bit of a bus driver's belly. And this is very true. Over the years I've seen many a bus driver, some of which who I've worked with, sitting in the cab, and as they've been steering the steering wheel's been rubbing on their belly to the point where there's actually a little bit of a mark on their shirt. And this video was actually inspired by another YouTuber, Andy the bus driver, no, Andy on the buses. He inspired me to do this. So if you haven't seen him yet, he's a new YouTuber. Go and check him out, Andy on the buses. I'm pretty sure there's going to be amazing things coming from his channel. But the reason why he inspired me to do this one is because we're in a bit of a group chat. We've got 8 bus drivers plus average Steve in a group chat. It can get quite funny in there sometimes. But and Andrew's new, and the company he works for has a gym. Who'd have thunk it? So the company that Andrew, the bus driver, Andy on the buses works for, they have a gym. And it's quite frustrating because drivers, we need a gym. We are quite possibly some of the most unhealthiest people going. Don't get me wrong, I get my fair amount of cardio because I walk 4.2 miles to work near enough every day. But if we had a gym in my garage, would I use it? Hell yeah, I would. Definitely. I get to work an hour early every day just so I can do a little bit of paperwork, have a coffee and relax. But if I could just spend half an hour of that doing a bit of exercise, lifting some weights, on the treadmill, whatever, I would do it before work or after work. I think it's an absolutely vital part now of life, is trying to keep fit. And I think that every single bus garage should follow this example. I'm not going to mention the company that Andy on the buses works for because that's not fair. But bus companies out there, you have an obligation to your staff to make sure that they are well and healthy, because it gets to a point where we don't want to keep eating the canteen food, especially when in the garage I work for, the canteen provides the same food every day. Now don't get me wrong, I don't mind that. I don't mind a bit of jerk chicken now and again. In fact, I can quite honestly say my missus's jerk chicken is a lot better than the canteen jerk chicken. But it's jerk chicken every day. Rice and peas every day. Bar none, It's just, and sometimes, and do you know what makes it even funnier of the canteen food is they'll say international cuisine, spaghetti bolognese. How much more international can you get when you're eating chicken, rice and peas? Can you answer me that? It's and the healthy option, the healthy option, is fish with salad. Don't get me wrong, I like a bit of fish. Nothing wrong with a bit of fish. Fish is good, fish is lovely. However, when it's smothered in some sort of tomatoey oily concoction that's also loaded with a shitload of salt, boy oi oi. So what do we eat as bus drivers? I'll tell you what we eat as bus drivers. We either eat the canteen food, which is the same thing every day, or if we're lucky enough to have our missus make us something the night before, we take that in, or we have a packed lunch, or failing that, we go for what we would normally go for, which is fast food. And what sort of fast food? Well, this all depends on what part of the country you're at, to be fair. If you're in London, there's a good chance that if you're a bus driver, you're either going to go straight for even the kebab shop or the chicken shop. Oh yes, the good old chicken shop. We likes ourselves a bit of fried chicken Oh yeah, bus drivers' favourite is fried chicken. You know, elsewhere in the country I can imagine it be either, you know, fish and chips or kebab. But this doesn't help the situation, does it? You know, because we have to work a lot of hours. We have to sit driving. You know, we get, you know, quite peckish. We want something that is quite filling. Of course, we don't have a lot of time for a break, so we go for the quickest option, which is usually a takeaway. But it's no good for us, is it? So I think every garage, just for the sheer health and maintenance of their staff, should be, if not providing a gym, then subsidising heavily a gym subscription at a local gym, where the driver would only pay £5 a month. You know, the rest of it is subsidised by the garage. Because God forbid that a driver has a heart attack because he or she was unfit because they couldn't afford to go to the gym. You see, just to do a little bit of cardio. You know, I think that this garage in question that Andy on the buses works for, I think is an absolute gem for bringing this to my attention personally. And I think that definitely bus drivers should try and exercise more. I mean, it's easier said than done, don't get me wrong. I mean, I can't afford to go to a gym, not by a long shot. I don't really have the time to go to a gym away from work. However, if my place of work were to provide it, I would use it because it's there. Even if I had to pay something ridiculous like, I don't know, £1 a week. You know, even if the union had to pay for it and it came out of my money either way, I would still use it. You know, bus drivers, we are incredibly unfit. But yet saying that, there are some people who drive buses who are exceptionally fit because they don't want to go down that slippery slope of becoming that stereotypical bus driver with the bus driver's belly. So what can we do as bus drivers if we can't go to the gym? Okay, so this is what I tend to do from time to time to try and keep myself fit. Bearing in mind, you know, I don't go to a gym. So first things first is I walk whenever I can. So I'm walking to work today, which is pretty much the normal for me. That's 4.2 miles. I'll do it at about 3.8 miles per hour, which means it's going to take me on average 1 hour and 15 minutes to get to work. That's 1 hour and 15 minutes at a relatively steady pace, keeping my heart beating, keeping the blood flowing, you know, and it's giving me exercise, which is good. You know, it's good for me. I feel better for it. And even if you're not a walkie kind of person, you could get the bus to work, for example, say halfway. If you leave a good half hour earlier than you normally would, get the bus halfway, then walk halfway. You know, build yourself up to a point where you can quite comfortably say, this is the day I'm going to walk to work. And when you do it the first time and you get there, yes, your feet are going to hurt. Yes, you may have a blister. You know, yes, you know, you may be out of breath the first time, but if you persevere with it, you start to enjoy it. You enjoy the walk. So it's good exercise. You get those endorphins, you know. So that's one thing that a bus driver can do, is, funny enough, not take the bus. Another thing that we bus drivers can do, which I also tend to do when I can be bothered, because it actually hurts me because I've dislocated my shoulder a few years ago, is if you was to stand inside your bus when you get to a bus stand, okay, in the dead centre where the two middle seats are on the left and the right, what you do is you put your hands, one on each seat, stretch your body out and just do press-ups. Don't put your hands on the floor. That's just silly because the floor is absolutely covered in filth. Building on the seats ain't too much better. But if you was to do push-ups on the bus with one hand on each seat on the left and right, even if you've never done them before, the slight elevation you have makes it slightly easier. So if you was to do 5, give yourself a 30-second break, then do another 5, give yourself a 30-second break, then do another 5. What you'll find is that you've done 15 push-ups, which you would not normally have done, you see. And if you do that every time you get to a bus stand, you'll find that over the course of a day, you've probably done 60 or 75 push-ups during the course of a day, and it's like, wow, I've done that many in a day. It's like, okay, that didn't take too much work at all, you know, especially when you're checking your bus for defects and this, that and the other. It's like you have a quick look around the bus for lost property. When you've got an extra 5 minutes to spare, just do a couple of push-ups whenever you get to the stand. That's another thing which can help bus drivers stay fit, because believe it or not, that actually burns calories, especially when your body's not used to it. You see, another thing that we can do as bus drivers is the stairs. You see, you may think that if you're driving a double-decker bus, you've got to go looking upstairs and it's a pain in the ass. But after you've checked your bus over, after you've got to a stand, if you don't fancy doing push-ups, we literally have steps. So you can literally use the first couple of steps and with a brisk pace, step up and down them for about a minute or two, you know, quite rapidly. Obviously, if you're not that steady, you can hold on to the sides, but as long as your legs are moving up and down, you're going up, down, up, down, up, down with those steps. Again, excellent exercise. Another one we can do is if you put your feet at shoulder positions and you stand in the wheelchair area, you know, extend your arms, keep your back straight and lower yourself down. This is called a squat at a controlled pace. And then slowly raise your body back up again. Do this 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10 times and you'll find yourself that your thighs and your backside starts to hurt slightly. That's called exercise. So we don't actually have to go to a gym necessarily. There are ways that we can keep ourselves fit during the course of a day, because we don't want to, again, like I said, become that stereotypical bus driver with the bus driver's belly. But it does get a bit annoying sometimes, because you know, sometimes you may not have enough time to do that, which I can fully appreciate and understand, especially when you're being hassled by the controller. The fat controller, funnily enough. But no, I think all bus, even if it's a small room, you know, accommodate some equipment, some gym equipment. You know, you don't have to have anyone working there. You could have someone there to give you the induction. You know, you could ask your staff to sign a health and safety waiver so that if they get injured, it's on them. So they'd have no liability for anything. And if they don't sign the waiver, they don't use the gym, which is fair enough. A lot of bus companies have rooms for different bits and pieces for different people, for blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to go into it. It's a pain in the arse as far as I'm concerned. However, when there is an empty room, which I know there's a few of, or where there's a room which could be split or partitioned to make room for said equipment, I'm thinking, well, why don't they do it? I mean, I know the company makes enough money because they have to keep their shareholders happy, you see. And I'm pretty sure that investing, I'm going to say that word very clearly, investing in gym equipment can only make things better for your drivers, different bus companies. Because your bus drivers will use it, it will give them motivation, it will make them happier, it will make them healthier, it will make them more motivated if I didn't see motivated already. You see, adding a gym to a workplace could be an absolutely fantastic thing to do. So this is my thoughts. If it's your first time joining me, I'm Chris, I'm the bus driver. Have a wonderful day. Like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. Take it easy.